found a dead body on my property.
Can you tell if it's
I know,
male or
I'm freaking out.
female?
It's a female. I can see
Female?
her hair. Well, I think it's that girl was posted all over town.
Do you know she probably died miserably here? Like out in the field somewhere with a couple goddamn logs on her?
She was, I mean, if she's not super hot or something like that, I don't pay attention. I'm shallow a little bit, I won't lie. I don't remember ever doing anything like that. I'm fearing that this is about to make me have a panic attack. Like, and then I'm literally feeling myself sweating and about to just start crying and passing out. You could shoot me right now and I wouldn't give it.
But
Okay.
you see my point right now, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know, but you went out and lived your life.
Yes, I did.
Now you're smirking
I
right
did
now.
stupid
Smirking right now.
I'm not smirking.
You were.
Because that's hilarious.
None of this is hilarious.
This man is 27-year-old Daniel Clay. He's no stranger to the judicial system, having been in and out of jail multiple times for crimes involving drugs, larceny, fraud, and breaking and entering. However, this time the charge against him is far more serious, as he's a suspect in the disappearance and murder of 22-year-old Chelsea Bruck.
Looking, poor Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? Look at that.
I know. I'm about to
And
Can you please see about if you got your water yet? I'm literally feel like I'm about to pass out.
On October 25, 2014, 22-year-old Chelsea Bruck donned a purple wig and her homemade leaf motif dress to complete her ensemble as Batman's evil villainess, Poison Ivy. She tells her mother she will return the following morning, then sets off with her friend Laura Taylor from her hometown of Maybe, Michigan, to the rural community of Frenchtown Township, located approximately 10 miles away. The plan was to meet additional friends and celebrate All Hallows Eve a little early at an outdoor Halloween party. At the party, hundreds of celebrants were drinking and enjoying live music, dressed as all manner of fantasy characters, pop culture icons, strange beasts, and evil creatures. Little did Chelsea know that this night she would encounter a real monster. She and her friends met up and enjoyed the festivities. Eventually, Laura and Chelsea's other friends were ready to leave the party, but Chelsea insisted on staying. They tried to get her to take her phone and purse out of Laura's car, but she refused. As a last resort, her friend Becky tried to take the items to Chelsea, but at that point, she couldn't find her. With no other options, they eventually gave up and left. Chelsea continued to enjoy herself, partying until the wee hours of the next morning, drinking heavily in the chill night air. At one point after midnight, she stumbled into a post, lacerating her nose, but still, she didn't let that stop her from having a good time. Around 3 a.m., she suddenly decided it was time to leave. As she had no phone or ride, she began to borrow phones from strangers to try to contact her friends. In frustration, she began to cry, smearing her makeup. A witness spoke to her by the party bonfire, complimenting her on her costume. He noticed that she was highly intoxicated, and there was a man with her, seemingly serving as her caretaker. As they finished their conversation, the man led Chelsea toward the parking lot and out of sight. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. 6 months later, on April 24, 2015, John Markin was transferring leftover dirt to his property from his Lake Michigan site development business to fill out space on his land for building a house. He'd been working on the project for months, but this day in particular took a disturbing and unforgettable turn, one that would forever remain etched in his memory. As one of his trucks dumped its load of dirt, it pulled forward for the bulldozer to come through, but became stuck. As they struggled to free it, they discovered to their horror a heavily decomposed body at their feet. The legs were slightly bent and the body's head rested against a log, sporting patches of what appeared to be blonde hair. Another nearly 10-foot-long log was across the body, cleanly cut on one end, as if it had been intentionally placed over it. When they recovered their wits, the men called 911 and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office began their investigation. Upon arrival, they interviewed the men about the discovery, then began to collect evidence. Among the items discovered were several pieces of duct tape, a cigarette butt, and a single fake green ivy leaf. During the course of the medical examiner evaluation, it was determined that the victim suffered many facial injuries, including a broken jaw. The cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. Dental records confirmed her identity, Chelsea Bruck. This was the end of a search that had begun the day following her disappearance, when her mother reported her missing. After questioning her family and friends, Local police located witnesses from the party and collected tips from their investigative hotline. After interviewing the banned merchandise vendor, who was believed to be the last person to see Chelsea at the party, the police created a composite sketch from his description of the man she was with at the bonfire, circulating it in public. Only the month before the grisly discovery of her remains, investigators responded to a report that a red American Eagle shoe was found on the roadside, approximately 2 miles from the party. Chelsea's family confirmed that the shoe belonged to her. A few days into April, her wig and leaf costume were discovered within an industrial building in Flat Rock, nearly 10 miles from the party site. Well preserved by the building, the costume itself had a rusty red stain in the chest area that appeared to be blood. The shoulder and crotch straps were either torn or cut. 5 months after the body was discovered in September, investigators heard from John Markin again. He was bulldozing more dirt on his land when he discovered a red shoe, the missing one to match the one investigators had previously recovered. Upon their arrival, investigators also located a pair of inside-out green tights, partially unearthed by Markin's bulldozer. With this evidence in hand, investigators intensified their search for the unknown assailant. Right away, there were several leads. Chelsea's leotard costume contained DNA other than her own, and several shorter and darker hairs, including one with a full root that they could process. Her wig contained a quantity of gray automotive fibers as well as chips of blue and green paint. Unfortunately, the hair was processed and deemed to be non-human, and the automotive fibers matched those located in Laura Taylor's vehicle, probably collected on the wig during the ride to the party. The DNA found on the leotard costume, however, was a match in the Combined DNA Index System, also known as CODIS. It was a match to one Daniel Allen Clay. The majority of the following interrogation footage has never been seen before. The footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, and a former licensed professional counselor with a Master of Science in Clinical Psychology. You're about to witness 2 detectives employ some of the most impressive interrogation tactics we've ever seen. When investigators sought out Daniel Clay as a suspect in the murder of Chelsea Bruck, they discovered he was already incarcerated for failure to pay child support. He was arrested on July 22, 2016, a year and 3 months after Chelsea's body was found. This is why he's already in a jumpsuit as the detectives lead him into the small interview chamber.
You want some water or something? You good? You fine? Give me a second, I'll be with you. Actually, I'm going to go ask about your phone right now. All right, thank you.
Daniel sits restlessly, bobbing his head, which may be a pacifying technique to help him relax. His hands are also around his torso, which generally is considered a protective position. Although some dismiss body language analysis as pseudoscience, it's used by the FBI and CIA during interrogations. When the CIA is interrogating an individual, they look for clusters of 3 or more indicators that occur in either quick succession or all at once. These indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extremely important to note that you cannot detect deception through body language analysis alone. The detectives are gone for nearly 3 minutes.
All right, we're working on the phone. All right. The deputies, what they do is they write their reports outside. So I got somebody calling. Yeah, the sergeant, what it was is he picked up my phone when they arrested me, and I said, can you let me call my girlfriend and tell her I'm going to jail for child support? Okay. He said, yeah, well, he called her, then I asked if I could have my phone back, and the deputy that put me in his car said, we'll have it to you when you get to the jail. Okay. And then we'll get it for you. I mean, that phone, that's easy. No problem. Yeah, but I will for sure get your phone numbers for you. Yeah, because I was supposed to go get my kids today. I got to call their moms and let them know, Okay. I will for sure get your phone numbers for you. Okay.
The lead interrogator on this case is Michael Preedmore, accompanied by a secondary detective, Brian Sroka. They work with Daniel on his phone request because they want to start by building goodwill and rapport. This also shows that they're willing to help him.
Daniel Clay. Yep. So, Jefferson. Yeah. You quit in 07? No, it was 05 I quit. 07 was when I should have graduated. Because I was only in the 10th grade.
Okay, so you got your GED or your
I was 2
diploma?
credits short of my diploma.
Really?
My real mom kicked me out.
Really?
Like, the state made me go live with her. They said, oh, well, you can go either to the youth center for it was 7 months at that point. Till I turned 18, because, I had no
Did you go to
guardian.
the youth center?
Or they said, you can go live with your real mom, who I had never met.
Asking Daniel about his education and other general questions about his life lets the detectives know how much effort they will need to put into helping him understand his Miranda rights when the time comes, and is part of the continuing process to establish a positive relationship. Building rapport is an important first step before implementing the Reed technique. The suspect is likely nervous and on edge when in this situation, and making them trust the interrogator will help getting them to talk and reduce the likelihood of them requesting an attorney. Rapport building includes discussing non-threatening topics or small talk to make the suspect feel more willing to start talking and open up. The interrogator will employ active listening and seem interested in the topics the suspect discusses. People tend to trust and like people more when they have things in common, so the interrogator will try to find some common ground as well. The interrogator may make jokes or seem lighthearted to ease the tension early on, so they're willing to stay and talk. Rapport building is also useful to get a behavioral baseline, which is a key requirement for reading a person later on, as deviations from these behaviors are what signals stress and possibly deception.
I told you we're doing an investigation. Your name came up. I need to talk to you because you're arrested.
Okay.
I need to read you your rights. Okay? So just understand you read and write. You understand, right? So, and I'm not trying to belittle you. I just got to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay?
Detective Preedmore goes through each right individually and makes sure that Daniel acknowledges his understanding verbally. That way, there's no way he can later claim that he didn't hear or understand any part of the process. Daniel signs the paper, so investigators begin their interrogation.
All right. Okay. So let me just start. What I want to do is just get a little history, just basic history. Like where you live.
Right now, I'm staying in Frenchtown Villa.
Okay. What's your address in Frenchtown?
I'm not even sure of the address. I just started staying.
Was it where they picked you up?
Yeah, it's where they picked me up at.
All right.
When officers arrived at Daniel's residence, they knocked on the door for several minutes without an answer. However, they did notice that the blinds moved as though someone peeked out at them. A short time later, an officer reported that Daniel was fleeing through the back door. They had to pursue him and eventually cuff him on the ground. The detectives spend a few more minutes building rapport and learning about him, asking about where he lives, his ex-girlfriend, and the child support case that led to his incarceration. Daniel mentions that despite falling behind on payments after losing his job, he has a good relationship with his ex, Jessica Pribble, and recently saw his kids.
No, I understand. Maybe someday I can put a good word in for you.
Now
you
I'm
gotta
looking at 30 or 45 days. I've been doing good. I've actually been trying to stay out of trouble.
Daniel mentions that he's trying to stay out of trouble, yet ironically, he's incarcerated over child support, is a suspect in Chelsea Bruck's homicide investigation, and immediately after discusses another brush he's had with the law.
So is this about that book bag that I was in here for a few weeks ago?
Book bag.
Okay, then I guess not. I was with my nephew Wesley. He took a book bag. We ended up getting in trouble. I spent 2 weeks in here, and then they dropped the charges.
You know, I heard about that.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Okay.
That's a city. We're with the county.
Oh, okay.
All right.
When Daniel is told he's not in because of the book bag issue, he begins to fidget. He uncrosses his leg, rubs his thighs with his hands, then crosses his legs again, showing much more bodily movement than just moments before. These are body language indicators of trying to self-soothe in order to release nervous energy.
So this is what it is, all right?
Okay.
We've had over actually 1,137 tips.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say
Right.
I've seen some stuff in the paper and stuff.
No,
about it.
and I mean, it's been all over. Somebody that don't know who she is, they've been living under a rock.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And you came up in one of them tips.
Okay.
A simple response like okay when he's told his name came up in one of the police tips is an unusual reaction for someone who is innocent, as someone who was not involved would likely react with surprise or shock.
All right. So our boss, when he tells us that we got to go out and we got to make contact with everybody that comes up in a tip, whether they're at the party, not at the party. We got to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Preedmore wants Daniel to believe that he is not a suspect and that they are simply following up on a random tip. Hopefully, this will keep him at ease and encourage him to talk freely. The truth is, detectives don't have the time nor resources to interview everyone who comes up in a tip. They need to at least have a fair inclination that the person is involved and likely some evidence.
That's why we're here talking to you.
I was at that party for 2 hours, and then went back to where I was staying up in Carlton.
So you were at the party?
Yeah. I seen my kid's mom actually there for...
Pribble?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Jessica Pribble?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me write this down. You got a lot of girls in your life.
Okay,
here.
I do have a lot of girls in my life. Yeah.
She was at the party?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't with her there. She was with her new boyfriend. At the time, they had just gotten together. Now they have a kid together and stuff.
So what time did you go to the party?
About 8, 9. I was out of there about 10, 11.
Okay, so you went there at 8 or 9?
Yeah.
It was still daylight.
It was getting dark because it's October,
8 or 9, okay.
Pretty sure.
And I understand that you're not going to remember everything because it's been a long time.
I'd say I probably showed up right as it got dark again. Probably only like 2 hours that I was there because I started drinking and then...
Do you remember who the band was playing?
No. I know it's Mike's
band. Were the
band.
bands playing?
They were ending as I was getting there.
So about 8 or 9 is when you got there?
Yeah.
All right.
I assume,
who did you go with?
Who was it with? I don't even remember. I know Frenchie was supposed to go with me, but he didn't.
Frenchie was supposed to go, but he didn't?
Yeah, he didn't.
Who's Frenchie?
Matt Hurst.
Matt Hurst?
Yeah. He was the buddy. I was staying with him, and then Christine Kaywood.
Did you go with Christine?
No, I didn't go with any of them.
Okay. Who did you go
with? The only
with?
person I seen was Tyler. I didn't go with anyone.
You went by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel goes from being unsure who he attended the party with to confidently stating that he went alone. This is an indication of how easily he can be deceptive and lie.
Who did you go with?
Who was it with? I didn't go with anyone.
You went by yourself?
Yeah. I seen Tyler, Jessica. I'm sure
you saw a lot of people because there were hundreds of people.
I was going to give Tyler a ride home, and then when I went to leave, I was talking to my baby mama, hopped in the car, talked to her, and left.
When you say baby mama, you mean Jessica?
Yeah.
Because you have another baby mama, right?
She was being pissy, because she followed me out to my car and was saying something to me, and then she was just being pissy.
When was this that you saw her?
As I was leaving.
Okay.
I seen her the whole time. I was pretty much hanging out with her the whole time.
This is what I do with everybody.
Okay.
All right. Relax.
All right. I'm
Just,
trying to remember.
I know it's a long time ago. So about 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 is when
somewhere in there.
Were you dressed as anything?
Just
plain clothes?
Yeah, shorts and t-shirts.
You weren't like a Peter Pan or something like that?
The very last person to see Chelsea at the party was Logan Matzel, who was at the party selling band merchandise with his mother. He claimed that at 3 a.m. he talked to a very intoxicated Chelsea about her costume at the bonfire, and the memory remained with him because he's allergic to poison ivy, represented by the leaves on her outfit. With her was a man he thought might be her boyfriend because of how he was holding on to her and talking to her like he knew her. He described this man as a white male with medium-length dark hair and a thin mustache and beard wearing black-framed glasses. This is the description police used to create the suspect's sketch. When Logan and Chelsea finished talking, he watched her and the man leave toward the parking lot, but he left to clean his booth before he saw them get in a vehicle.
No, I did see, there was a
so
girl
you were plain clothes?
I do remember a girl there that was dressed up like Alice in Wonderland. She was so hot. So hot.
Daniel bringing up this other girl may be an attempt to lead detectives to believe that his interest was in this woman rather than Chelsea.
You drove yourself?
Yeah.
What did you go in?
My friend's car.
Who's your friend?
Christine. Haywood. I don't talk to her anymore.
Who is that?
Christine. It was just this chick I lived with.
Christine?
I might have actually had Talisa's car that day.
Man, you know a lot of girls.
Talisa's my baby mama. Christine was just this chick I stayed around.
Tapping on the table when he speaks is known as using an illustrator. It can be a sign of possible deception when someone's gestures don't match with what they're saying. He taps twice, then pauses, then taps one more time, which doesn't fit with the natural punctuation points in his speech. If someone is thinking something different than what they're saying, the person's body may emphasize the thoughts rather than the words.
I might have actually had Talisa's car that day.
Man, you know a lot of girls. So okay, well, hold on. Let's keep you focused here. All right. The car.
Pretty sure I had Talisa's car.
Talisa.
Pretty
what
sure.
kind of car was it?
Ford Fusion.
A Ford Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
So you drove a Ford Fusion.
Be silver Ford Fusion.
Silver Ford Fusion. What color? Or it is silver, right?
Yeah.
What year?
You got me.
It's newer. 08, 09, something like that.
All right. You get there, you park, you get out, you say you got a half a pint, you start partying. What'd you do?
Just wandering around.
Okay.
Mainly I spent most of the time talking with Jessica, my baby mama.
So, party, you're there, you see Jessica. You said you hung out with Jessica most of the time. What was you drinking off from her?
Fireball.
Ooh.
I remember that.
What was your pint that you brought?
Vodka. It's always vodka.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure
How much vodka did you drink?
I only drank like the half pint. And then I drank, a couple shots of Fireball and stuff. But, I started getting a little tipsy, so, not... So I won't lie. I drove drunk. I mean, I'm not.
What's your tipsy? I mean, I know what my tipsy is.
I don't get drunk.
Were you
I don't like if I'm standing here, I'd be standing here like this. I might wobble a little bit, but I could still do this number and stuff like that.
So you still had your wits too.
I don't like
you
to
knew
get
where you were.
drunk.
You weren't laying down on the ground, laying in your puke.
No, I don't like to get drunk. I think it's retarded. Like if you get a buzz, I smoke weed. So to me, getting a buzz and relaxing is what I want to do. I don't want to get stupid drunk and then puke everywhere.
So a half pint, drink half pint.
I might have drank a pint total because I drank some of the Fireball too.
Were you smoking weed at the party too? I know a lot of people were kind of.
I don't think I even smoked any weed there. I think I smoked before I went there, but I don't like taking weed to parties and stuff because I've been pulled over so many times and got so many weed charges. As it is now, I don't even smoke weed unless I'm sitting at home and someone brings it to my house.
The lead detective makes a point of asking Daniel how much he drank. This is intentional because Preedmore wants to ensure that later he cannot claim that he was too drunk to remember anything. The detective jokes around with him intentionally so that Daniel won't feel judged and can speak freely. Daniel seems to be comfortable with the officers, swearing in front of them regularly and talking more as if they were friends rather than authority figures. He even admits that he was drinking and driving that night.
You talked to a couple people, but, did you ever see
Not that
Poison
I know.
Ivy?
Not that I know.
I mean, she probably would have stood out if you saw her.
Yeah, but it's also been 2 years. I think I seem to remember when this first started coming in the news and stuff that I remembered seeing her, the leafy shirt thing.
Yeah, Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
It's pretty distinct, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, but just seeing her at the party.
Okay.
Daniel says, not that I know of, instead of a firm no. He may have used a vague phrase intentionally to make it easier for him to later change his mind and remember that he did see her.
I mean, did you know, prior to the party?
Not prior to. Afterwards, because it was 5 days later, I went to go pick up.
Okay.
And she's like, do you know that my girl that I worked with, come up missing, blah, 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 blah.
So you never met her there?
Never met her at the party, never seen her at her work.
Not at Olga's?
I did go into Olga's a few times to see Jessica, but I don't remember seeing her there either,
Okay.
I mean, if she's not super hot or something like that, I don't pay attention. I'm shallow a little bit, I won't lie.
I understand. No, it's fine.
Daniel reinforces the idea that he views women merely as objects, as he claims he doesn't usually notice them unless they're super hot. As he admits, he's a shallow man and he has an inflated sense of himself. This also seems to be an attempt to distance himself from Chelsea, along with his assertion that he never saw her.
So, while you're at the party, you don't ever remember seeing her?
No.
Never talked to her, never did anything?
No.
Nothing at all?
I left there and went home.
Hold on. When did you leave?
Probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours after I got there.
So that's
when I got there, it was right when it was getting dark. And
so 8 or 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what time it gets dark.
Okay.
But, because I remember, literally, it just just gotten dark because I was turning, everybody had their lights on and stuff, and it was getting a little hard to see and all that because we were pulling into the yard.
Okay.
I was there for
When
like
you say
an hour
we
and a
were
half.
pulling in,
Like,
was it just you or was somebody
all the
else
line
with
of
you?
cars,
Okay. All right.
And then, like, as I'm pulling in, you got stopped by, like, I seen Ollie, and there was another person that worked security. That's who I seen when I was leaving. What was it? Because I know most of the people that, like, work security. I just can't think of who it was. I seen Ollie and someone else as I was pulling out because I stopped and talked to him.
I mean, it's all right.
Tyler Ellison. I seen him when I was leaving because he got mad because I wouldn't give him a ride.
Okay.
Because he had like 4 chicks with him, and I was like, dude, I'm not taking you and 4 chicks somewhere just so I can get stuck with the ugly one.
No. I was just going to
That's exactly what it was.
Tyler Ellison is the friend that Daniel continuously uses as his alibi for being alone when leaving the party. However, when detectives interviewed him, Tyler's version of events differs significantly from Daniel's. He explained that he arrived at the party with a friend, but when he was ready to leave, he couldn't find her. He saw Daniel standing by himself just before the fire was lit. Tyler claimed that he knew Daniel, but only casually. They weren't friends and didn't hang out together. Nonetheless, he asked him for a ride, and Daniel agreed, saying they would leave as soon as he finished his vodka. While waiting for him to finish, Tyler walked around the party for a bit. However, when he came back, Daniel was gone, so he had to call his friend Jarrett to pick him up.
Now, at this party, you don't remember. You never stood.
Like, I feel like I remember seeing her, like I said, like, I remember a few days later when I heard about it and everything. I remember seeing her there, but...
The detectives continue to build their bond with Daniel, playing along with his jokes and behaving as if they're just friends having a casual chat, so he'll let down his guard. Meanwhile, they confirm the information he has provided them, checking to see if he will slip and change parts of his story. It seems to be working. After all, a short time ago, Daniel was adamant that he'd never seen Chelsea at the party.
I can understand. So possibly, I understand you're drinking and that, and there's all kinds of people.
I was gonna say, like, the only girl that really even sticks out to at that party besides my baby mama was the chick in the Alice in Wonderland costume.
Gotcha.
She was a big, tall chick, though.
I've heard somebody talk about her before.
Yeah,
we have her actually, I think, too.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
She's pretty good looking.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude.
So
at one point, I literally picked her up on my shoulders and carried her. Then found out she had a boyfriend. I was so pissed.
Yeah, you're not the only one that's mentioned Alice in Wonderland.
That's what bummed me. I'm pretty sure that's why I left. Because I was like, dude, all right, you won't fuck it. I've been sitting here flirting with the chick for 30 minutes. She's been flirting with me, doing shots with me, talking to me and stuff, all about me. And then
was she doing? You were doing shots with her?
Well, she was drinking her own shit. I think she had I don't know. I know she had something because I remember cheersing her a couple times.
Gotcha.
Daniel's return to the Alice in Wonderland girl continues his attempt to shift focus away from Chelsea, but also establishes a potential motive that he may have taken his frustration out on her later that night.
I feel like I seen her that night because I remember talking to Jessica about this. I'm like, yeah, I think I remember who you're talking about, but I don't like...
You never had any contact with her, talked to her?
She was asking people for the phone, to use the phone, and she ever like asked you to use your cell phone?
I didn't even, no. Okay. My phone was dead most
So
of the
if you would have saw her, it would have been at a distance just...
Yeah, I could have walked right past her for all I know, but it's been, like almost 2 years
now?
No,
I understand. But I think you would remember talking to her.
Yeah, I would remember talking to her, but I don't talk to her. I just remember the party because, the whole thing that happened.
No, I understand.
Everyone remembers right every night.
Daniel's hand gestures are getting larger and larger, indicating that he's really working to try to convince the officers he's telling the truth. Individuals use gestures to get their point across, and these large gestures are a departure from his much smaller gestures at the beginning of the conversation, which shows that he's aware he needs to be believable here.
So that's my main thing is just, you may have seen her, which is fine. Hundreds of people saw her there.
Yeah.
All right. But if you had contact with her, I need to know.
Yeah. As far as I can remember, I don't think I even said a word to her. I don't think I remember even getting close to her. I just feel like I remember seeing the Poison Ivy outfit and maybe thinking, oh, well, that's cool or something, because there wasn't many people in costumes.
His feet and legs are more fidgety than previously, and his right leg is also pointed out, away from the room. The feet can often give an indication as to where the individual is thinking about wanting to go.
So when you left at 10 o'clock, Where did you go from there?
Back to where I was staying, and I dropped Lisa's car off and then went to Goblins, which is in Americana.
Okay, so you dropped Lisa's car off at Pear?
Yeah.
So you left the party and went up to Pear?
Mm-hmm.
And from Pear,
I went to Americana.
Did you go in the trailer?
Yeah.
Or did you just drop the car off and go?
Dropped the car off, talked to her for a minute, and left.
Okay, so you went in and talked and made contact with her. What time do you think this was?
Like probably like 11. Because I didn't have her car for long. I only had it for them few hours.
All right. So you drop the car off. It's right around 11. You talk to her for a few minutes, and then you leave there and go to Americana?
Yeah, I had her drop me off at Americana.
Who?
Oh, she dropped you off there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So she drops you off, or who she dropped you off to?
Christine's, which is where I was staying at the time. It was just this chick I stayed with, my buddy Matt.
Another one?
Yeah. But I wasn't messing with this one. She's an uglier chick. She ended up, like, we stopped talking like a few weeks later. So Christine?
The girl lets him stay at her house, and he insults her. Further indication of how Daniel feels about women.
So her body, where we found her body, was Briar Hill Road. You familiar with Briar Hill?
I know
Road?
that it's near up where Chelsea lives. It's like back a couple miles back or something. That's
you ever been there?
No. I mean, I might have rode down it like smoking or something, but
is there any information that you think that would help me?
Not really. I mean, I know some of the areas. I was at the party, but I don't remember, like,
well,
I feel like I remember seeing the shirt, and I feel like I remember, back then seeing it and, being like, oh, well, I've seen her, I think. But that's about it.
Hundreds of people saw her.
Yeah. I don't.
But was there anything suspicious?
I don't remember seeing her with anyone specifically or anything like that. I don't remember,
Okay. She was never with you at any time? You never met her prior to the party?
No. I mean, I could have met her. I could have met her at Olga's.
Okay.
With when I went up there to see Jessica,
right.
but like I never said anything.
Yeah. Did you ever date her at all? You guys ever date?
No.
Ever? I know she was pretty big on Facebook.
No.
Do you ever communicate with Chelsea on Facebook or text message or?
No, because I even thought about it. I was like, no.
Any websites at all? I know sometimes she went on like dating websites and would reach out to people.
Meet would be the only one I really use.
Do you remember ever talking to Chelsea on there? I think she might have had one of those, but
not that I know of.
So
you can check my Facebook and everything. I'm 99.9% certain.
So I think I got one more question. Have you ever had sex with her?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay.
I don't even, I've never even flirted with her, never talked to her.
Never?
Nothing. No.
Anything
Trust me, I'm a man whore. I remember every chick I've ever slept with, for the most part. And, yeah.
All right.
The detectives are asking all of these specific questions to rule out any innocuous reasons for finding his DNA on Chelsea's body. As this discovery was the reason they identified Daniel as a suspect in the first place, his denials of any chance or intimate encounters is very valuable for their interrogation. The detectives then tell Daniel they're going to take a short break. He may be feeling relief now as the self-soothing head behavior from earlier has stopped. He may be thinking he's managed to dodge a bullet and the conversation about Chelsea is over.
That's the pee. Oh, that's the pee.
I got those numbers, so. All right.
Here, the detectives have come through with Daniel's request, which is an attempt to continue to build goodwill.
I just got some follow-up questions. Okay. But do you need anything before we? Okay. All right. Because I know I had to pee hard. I had to pee, so.
Are you good? This is all I've had to drink today, so.
Okay. All right.
The detectives watch suspects through the camera when they're alone because this can reveal important details. Since Daniel stated that he needed to pee, Detective Preedmore gives him the option to use the restroom. It's interesting that Daniel declines, but perhaps he thought the interview was nearly over and planned to just wait until the end.
Like Facebook. Do you have Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you be willing to let me look into your Facebook?
Like, what do you mean? Like, go through my messages
Yeah.
or whatever? Yeah. As long as I'm with you, I don't mind.
Would there be any reason that your DNA would or on her clothes or
Not
in her
to my-
hair
Not to my knowledge.
or anywhere on her body?
No.
Okay.
The detectives are preparing to confront him with their evidence to check his responses to this information. Daniel's response here is significant because anyone who'd never had contact with the victim would more than likely give a more definitive negative response.
Do you understand what DNA is?
Yes, I understand.
What? Tell me what you
Your
think DNA.
blood, you know, everybody's is different.
But what about semen?
Everybody's is different.
It's DNA.
Yeah.
Spit.
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you know what
skin cells.
DNA is.
Yeah, I know what
touch
you're
saying.
something.
I
So
know.
there's
I'm
no-
relatively smart.
It's not just blood. Okay. Well, a lot of people, and I'm not calling you dumb at all.
Yeah.
I just want you to
Yeah, it's
understand
blood,
it's
semen,
blood,
hair, anything
semen,
that comes
any-
from your body.
Right.
Yes.
You have DNA in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to clear.
Okay.
And there's no reason any DNA of yours should be on her clothes,
No.
in her hair, or
No.
anything like that. Okay. My next question to that, we've asked everybody, okay? Everybody,
Okay.
if they would be willing to consent to a DNA buckle swap.
Yeah.
And
They actually just did one for me like a month and a half ago.
Well, I mean, I don't know where that went.
Okay.
This is specifically for this case.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right.
Detective Creedmoor once more tries to allay Daniel's suspicions that he is the main suspect by indicating he's having everyone provide DNA. As Daniel points out, his DNA is on file from his prior arrest, but they're more interested in discovering whether he is willing to provide DNA or not.
So I'll ask him to go and get or he has
Actually,
it.
right here.
So-
Like I said, I don't mind helping whatever way I can.
Detective Sroka goes over his rights, then administers the DNA test. You may be wondering why exactly the investigators collected another DNA sample from Daniel. In addition to wanting to see Daniel's reaction to being asked and if he would agree to it, they also wanted to hold their cards until he already told a story that couldn't be explained away when DNA evidence was presented to him, basically trapping him in his lies. They wanted to make him believe they didn't have that evidence until later.
All right. So I know we've talked about it a lot, Daniel.
Okay.
And I know it's been a while. All right. And I've been straight up with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Straight up. I mean, I'm not hiding
What I'm
anything.
doing for you, yeah.
All right. And I hope that you've been straight up with me.
Yeah.
All right.
Trust me, I got
But
kids.
there's some other information that's out there, all right, that I've asked, and I think it's not been the whole truth.
Okay, like what?
Okay. And when we're talking about the whole truth, we're talking about contact.
Okay.
All right.
Daniel goes from making small movements like lightly bouncing his foot to suddenly freezing when confronted about how he is not giving them the whole truth. This is a red flag that could possibly indicate that the detectives are onto something. The freeze response is a survival instinct that may emerge when a person feels threatened. If someone is making a repetitive movement, like bouncing their foot, and then they suddenly stop when they're asked a question or presented with new information, this is a sign that their stress level has increased. A deceptive person may stop moving in an attempt to blend in and not call attention to themselves, much like an animal may freeze when they sense a predator is hunting them.
I have reason to believe I have information that you had contact with.
Like
Okay.
at that party or something?
Yes.
Like, I might have seen her. I don't remember.
But when I say, remember I clarified, you might have seen her.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I said I might have seen her.
When I say contact, I mean physical contact.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Notice here how his head is shaking no in the middle of the yes head shake. This is a subtle sign of what he's really thinking and is called incongruent body language. Gestures for emphasis should align with the words they're supposed to be emphasizing. If someone is shaking their head no while they're verbally saying yes, that's a red flag that their brain is thinking one thing and choosing to say another out loud.
What if I told you that your DNA was on her?
I don't know how my DNA got on her.
Okay.
Like, no way, no nothing, no how.
Daniel repeating "no way, nothing, no how" is a way to try and convince the detectives that he's telling the truth. When someone repeats something, the average honest person tends to believe it the more they hear it.
But if I told you that her DNA or your DNA was on her?
Then why did you just take my DNA again? Then you would have to have my DNA from before, so, but I don't,
I'm not, listen, listen, Daniel,
Sure.
I am not trying to trick you. I'm looking you straight in your face, all right? I will actually show you, all right, what I have from the crime lab.
Okay.
All right? And I'm telling you that your DNA is on there.
I have no idea how.
So we need to figure out how it got there.
I have no idea.
Nobody can, that just doesn't show up.
At this point, Detective Preedmore has begun to use the Reed method, a technique designed to use positive confrontation to explore inconsistencies. By confronting Daniel with the DNA results, which they had before they even brought him into the interrogation room, Preedmore is calling out his lies. He continues to deny any involvement until the detective confronts him with new information.
We need to, right here, it needs to happen.
I have no idea. So
it's fine.
Daniel is holding both of his hands palm up, known as a rogatory display. Often when a person shows their palms, they're asking that you accept them and or what they're saying. The palm up position indicates that the person lacks confidence in what they're saying, and they're pleading with you to believe them. When someone makes a declarative statement, their body language will likely show confidence if that statement is true.
That kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know,
Well, it freaks me out too. It really, truly, honestly does. It freaks me out. Okay? But I need to know. All right?
No idea.
Your DNA was found on her.
No idea.
And you had to be with her. You had to. You know why? Because 1 in gazillion, it's a 1 in gazillion. All right? That your DNA was on her.
Like what kind of DNA? Like a hair or something?
DNA. Like fluid DNA.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I really do not have.
You believe me?
If that's what you're saying, I guess.
Daniel probes for information here. He may be trying to find out how much the detectives know before revealing anything. However, the detectives use a strategy of providing their evidence in small tidbits so they can counteract suspect lies.
I'm asking, do you believe me?
I guess, yeah.
I am not tricking you.
There is
nothing. I am straight up with you.
I have no idea how my DNA got on her.
So I need to know, all right, did you, and you're the ladies' man.
Yeah.
If something happened, something happened. Now hear me out.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Know everything about her. Everything. And I know she was promiscuous. Your DNA is on her.
I have no idea how.
Preedmore deploys a tactic, appealing to Daniel's notion that he is a ladies' man and sleeps with so many women that he might not remember this particular encounter. This provides Daniel with an opening, while also suggesting that Chelsea may have been the instigator to try and make him feel comfortable enough to make admissions.
Your DNA is on her, Daniel.
I really do not know how.
So, at some time, you came in contact with her.
I don't know how. Could it be like spit or something, or is it like semen DNA?
It's not spit.
Like how?
Right? I'm not quite sure how your spit would be on her if you weren't.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I could have walked by her talking or something.
Well, we're not talking about a brush.
No.
It's not a brush. All right. I would have already told you that. That is not. No, your DNA was on her.
I have no idea. If my DNA is on her, then I think I need a lawyer. But I have no idea how my DNA is on her.
Well, I don't. I'm just trying to confirm, that we got your DNA, and I'm asking you how it got there.
I have no idea.
Right? And I am not tricking you.
I really have no idea.
You just mentioned the lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, like if my DNA is that I'm obviously getting charged with something or something. I don't know what's going on.
When you talk about a lawyer. All right, I gotta stop. I can't talk to you about anything anymore.
Detective Preedmore has to stop Daniel here because once a suspect requests a lawyer, he's unable to continue the conversation any longer because any information they learn at this point would be considered inadmissible in court. Their main goal now is to convince Daniel to re-waive his right to a lawyer because once an attorney arrives, the interview is likely over. Realizing now that he's an actual suspect rather than just a tip detectives are acting upon, Daniel begins to panic.
I'll listen to talk for now. I don't.
Are
want
you
to
sure?
Yeah, because right this minute, because I didn't do anything. I know I didn't do anything. So
hold on. Relax. All right. When you mention lawyer to me, I got to stop.
Okay.
I can't talk to you.
Okay.
All right. I have to confirm that you do not want an attorney to talk with you while I talk to you about
I do not
this.
want an attorney yet.
Okay. So you do not want an attorney right now while we're talking about this.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I want to know what's the DNA. I want to know.
I'm going to show you.
Okay.
But you mentioned attorney to me.
I'm fine.
I'm not supposed to talk any more about it.
Okay.
But I want to.
For the first time since this began, Daniel has his feet crossed at the ankles, which may be a sign that he's feeling nervous about what the detective is about to show him. Particularly for males, suddenly interlocking the ankles is often a sign that the person is feeling uncomfortable or stressed. As well, his hands clutched in his lap, protecting the jewels. This is a highly protective stance for him to take and indicates a significant increase in anxiety as his fight, flight, freeze mode intensifies.
But I have to have your approval, your permission to talk to you further.
You have my permission to talk
without your attorney.
Yes.
All right, and you are clear.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to know what's.
You see your name right here.
Okay.
This is the DNA specimen, and this is your name.
Mm-hmm.
Your specimen matched up to DNA on hers, on her costume. Okay? You mentioned to me about getting a sample. All right? You're correct. You just gave us one. All right? But you mentioned earlier about submitting a sample.
Yeah, like
and I'm being straight up with you. When you submit that sample,
it gets tested for everything. Okay, yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay. So that's why the cops come out so bad to look for me.
So I'm here. All right?
Okay.
It's time. If you had contact, which you did. You did have contact.
No.
Because your DNA was on her costume. You did have contact with her.
Another aspect of the read technique is to lower a suspect's confidence by making them aware that the detectives do not believe the answers they're giving in an attempt to stop or prevent future denials.
And now we're going to go and we're going to talk about family.
Okay.
Okay? We're going to talk about our children.
Okay.
Your children.
Okay.
My children. His children. He has two. Okay?
The shift in topic to family is an intentional plan to appeal to Daniel's morality, as not only does he have children, but the victim has family members that are suffering due to her loss.
All right? And this comes up, and you tell me that, no, you've never had any contact with her.
No, I didn't.
Okay? But your DNA was on her stuff.
I don't know how.
Okay? But, and I'm just telling you, it was there. And listen to me. You know how. All right? Only you know. Hold on. Only you know how. All right? But ultimately, it's up to you to tell. Your children, okay? I do not want your children wondering what their dad did.
Nothing.
I'm just telling you.
I know.
Because it's out there. It's going to be out there. So much speculation, okay, as to what happened. Someday, we can only hold stuff for so long and then the media can FOIA it.
I know.
Okay, so when they FOIA this and they find that Daniel Clay's DNA was on her stuff, all right, I mean, you know how people are.
Yeah.
They're going to want to hang you down here.
I know.
Okay, but that's where you can stop that.
The inclusion of the media aspect is Preedmore's attempt to instill some fear into Daniel and get him to tell his version of the truth before the media writes the story for him.
You can stop that and tell me what happened, how your DNA got on her costume.
I have no idea. I really don't.
You had contact with her.
No.
You did. I'm telling you, Dan. I'm I'm not guessing. I'm not making anything up. All right? You came in contact with her. Did you kill her? You never heard me say you killed her.
No, I did not.
Never.
I did not do anything to that girl.
But you came in contact with her.
At the party, I might have, but I didn't do anything with her. I mean, I could have, like, unless I had something on me and I touched her somehow or something. I don't know.
Okay, so hold on.
People often use exaggerated arm gestures and body movements when lying in an attempt to appear more believable, similar to what Daniel is doing here. Detective Preedmore then tells him what he believes happened based on the evidence, demonstrating that they already know more or less what happened to make Daniel lose confidence with his denials.
Right. So this is what I think happened.
Leaving by myself. I showed up by myself. Everything.
Can I tell you what I think happened?
Sure.
All right. Just hear me out.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I've looked into a lot. I mean, we've been investigating this for a long time. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, it's no surprise. It's no coincidence. It's not a brush. All right. Your DNA was on her stuff, but hear me out. All right. Maybe, and just hear me out.
Yeah.
You left the party by yourself. I'm not disputing that at all. Okay. But I think possibly maybe you picked her up. Hear me out.
No.
And how promiscuous she was. And she had been drinking. You had been drinking. You're the ladies' man. You told me yourself. All right. So you see her, and I know how promiscuous she was. All right. Well, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I know you don't know, but I'm telling you.
Daniel shifts his feet, likely an anchor point movement indicating he's feeling uncomfortable. When someone is sitting in a chair, there are 3 anchors that are keeping them in that position: the feet, back, and buttocks. If a suspect moves any of these body parts, it may indicate that they're feeling anxious and trying to dissipate that energy through movement. By describing Chelsea as promiscuous, the detective is trying to take the blame off of Daniel so that he will admit to having physical contact with her. It will be easier for him to admit the truth if he feels like the detectives are on his side and that Chelsea can be blamed for part of what happened. This is likely not the detective's real belief at all, but is instead a strategy to get the truth.
I think you two had, all right? I'm telling you, I think you two had, but her death, I don't know if that was you or someone else.
The detective is intentionally separating the encounter from the murder to see if he can get Daniel to admit to sleeping with Chelsea. Since confessing to intercourse with her does not mean an admission to killing her, he hopes Daniel will take the bait, as it will later prove easier to pin the murder on him as well.
All right, I don't know. All right, I want to know the truth, but I first need to know the truth how your DNA got on. Did you and her have sex?
No.
All right,
no.
You got to be truthful with it.
If you want
help with you, if you want me to help you, all right, you got to be 100% truthful with me.
I didn't do anything with her.
More happened that night than you're telling us. We know that. No. We know that. You know that. Okay. We want to know how things went down.
I have no idea how that got there. I really don't. I'm telling you this. I do not, to my knowledge, remember ever having sex with her.
Once more, Daniel responds with "not to my knowledge," indicating deception.
Yeah,
never doing anything.
But you got. Let me stop you real quick, Daniel. Daniel, look at me. To my knowledge is not a definite.
Okay, well, like unless I don't remember.
Right. Well, that could be it.
I don't really get that.
But that's why I asked you, how f***ed up were you?
I was, okay, I was drunk, but not drunk. I was still, I remember most of the night after I left. Like, I remember driving home safe. I didn't crash or nothing, so I had to be sober enough to do that.
Could you have had sex with her and thought it was somebody else?
Not to my knowledge.
Is that a possibility?
Not to my knowledge. Unless I was...
Okay. But is it a possibility?
It's a possibility, yeah. It could have...
Your DNA is on her. Is there a possibility...
I mean, there's a possibility.
...that you had sex with her?
There is a possibility.
Okay. But that possibility...
I was f***ed up at that party. Okay. I remember getting there, getting f***ed up, being there for a couple hours. I remember getting in that car and leaving.
Listen,
I remember...
This marks a new shift in the interrogation, as for the first time, Daniel admits the possibility that he might have hooked up with Chelsea in a situation where he was under the influence or otherwise mentally impaired.
You left that party alone.
I did not pick anyone up.
At that party, there's a possibility you could have with her.
I mean, if I was that up, I don't know what.
Okay.
But I don't remember having sex there. I remember doing a lot of stupid party. I know I had that day twice, but I don't think it was her because there was a girl named Nicole and then a girl named
Daniel.
Daniel has taken the bait, changing his story to fit the scenario Detective Preedmore is selling. After his many denials, he now suggests that he was terribly drunk at the party and definitely had slept with someone, that it could have been with Chelsea, which explains how his DNA could have gotten on her costume.
Okay.
I remember.
So when you had in a car.
Yeah.
Okay. What car?
Talisa's.
Okay. It wasn't somebody else's car.
No.
There were hundreds of cars.
Oh.
So it was Talisa's car.
Yeah.
The police interviewed Talisa Orsett, the ex-girlfriend and roommate who Daniel claimed lent her the silver Ford Fusion he allegedly drove to the party. She explained that she met Daniel on the MySpace website and began dating in 2009. Daniel moved in with her in early 2010 and lived with her off and on until she became pregnant in early 2011, during which time his residence with her became more permanent. In September of 2014, they broke up and Talisa kicked him out of her house, during which time he moved in with Christine K. Wood and Gregory Crutchfield. Talisa allowed Daniel to borrow her car only one time, and he damaged her door, so she states that there was absolutely no way that he was driving her car on the night of Chelsea's murder. Another of Daniel's roommates, Matthew Hurst, confirmed that Daniel always drove Christine's vehicle, which was a green four-door Mitsubishi. In fact, when interviewed, Christine claims that while she stayed home rather than attending the party, she did let Daniel borrow her vehicle that specific night.
Do you think that's where that DNA came from?
I mean, it could be, but I don't remember like her being in a costume. Like,
okay.
I remember it was just a girl in a t-shirt or something.
Okay.
I just.
Well, you said it.
Yeah, I'm saying it could be. I remember having but she wasn't blonde. She had dark hair.
Well, she was wearing a wig.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there was a dark-haired chick, but I'm fairly certain it wasn't her.
See?
And when I left alone. I didn't take her with me or nothing.
I'm just trying to recount.
When you guys first brought me in here and I started thinking about it, like, I don't remember who I had that night. I know I was up and had sex with someone. I've always wondered if it could have been her or not. And then you guys called me in here, freaked me out. I didn't want to say I was with somebody and then find out it's her, and then, she disappeared. And I know I left alone. I know I didn't do anything. All I know that I remember how it was is the girl said, "Ooh, you're cute." And I said, "No, you're cute." And she was really and giggled, and I just grabbed her up, started making out with her. Next thing you know, I'm in my car, I left.
Yeah.
But
after having sex with her,
if that's who I had sex with,
that's who you had sex with. All right? Now, there's no denying it.
Okay.
There's no discounting it. All right? You had sex with the car. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Where at the party did you see her? Where did she come up and say, "Hey, you're..."
Right by the fire. I just got done talking to Jessica.
What time was this?
Right before I left, so probably about 9:30 to 10:30. I remember talking to Jessica, and then Tyler was trying to get me to play wingman, and I'm like, "No, dude." So I hurried up and hopped in the car and pulled out, because he seen me literally standing like 5 feet from me and goes, "Dude, you're in a car by yourself. You can't take us home."
Okay.
And I'm like, "No, I'm not taking you and 4 chicks somewhere."
Despite his claims that he was so drunk that he couldn't even be sure that he had intercourse with Chelsea, Daniel suddenly seems to have a great recollection of a lot of specific details about the intimate encounter, including other events at the party, especially those involving his ex Jessica and friend Tyler around the time when he claims he left alone.
So the thing is, Daniel, is you had sex with, which is not
bad. It's
not bad.
It's a bad coincidence, but
it's one hell of a coincidence. But it's not bad. You said she jumped on you. "Hey, you're hot."
Much, yeah.
And
she's
that was
like,
it.
"Oh, you're cute," and
you two went to the car.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I was aggravated. I couldn't get with the chick with Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Daniel attempts to minimize his interest in Chelsea by suggesting that he only had intercourse with her because he was unable to get with the Alice in Wonderland girl. However, this makes it plausible that he took his frustrations out on her.
The thing, Daniel, I'm trying to believe you.
I know.
I really truly am.
I didn't think about it.
I'm being honest. I'm trying to believe you. I'm trying to believe you. I really, truly am. Okay? But it's really tough for me to believe.
Okay.
All right? It truly is. And I'm being honest with you.
I get
that. I'm speaking to you man to man. Okay?
There's a lot of people that party. So,
I know. But out of all of them people, your DNA is on
and
it.
it makes me look. So
Okay.
pretty much my life.
So
no matter what I say, it's never going to matter.
But yes, it does matter.
Daniel's acknowledgement that it looks terrible for him and that anything he says at this point probably won't matter is not only a sign of defeat, but possibly a cop-out to stop having to account for his previous lies.
The thing is now, all right, knowing, all right, and hear me out, what kind of vehicle it is, all right? What would I tell you if that description of that vehicle was seen up on Briar Hill that night? I'm just asking. What would you say?
I'd be like, okay then, because I didn't drive it anywhere but from that party to.
But what I mean.
Watch his hands here when he uses the table to emphasize they don't match his words at all. There's a significant delay between what he says and the movement, which indicates a difference between what is going on in his head and what's coming out of his mouth.
It might not even have been her vehicle, to be honest. It could have been Christine's vehicle that I had that night, but I feel like it was Talisa's.
Notice that when the detective offers the hypothetical situation where Talisa's vehicle might have been spotted near Briar Road, Daniel begins to scramble, changing his story once more to suggest that it may have been his friend Christine's car instead. This shifting of his established story to avoid putting himself at risk is another example of his pattern of lies.
Listen, Dan, I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to say.
I need to know
like,
what
this
happened.
Is 2 years ago, I'm saying.
I know.
Daniel makes another anchor point movement as he readjusts in his chair. The pressure is building, and he's likely feeling very tense.
I left by myself.
You would remember it. You told me yourself you drove down Briar Hill.
Which one's Briar Hill?
The one out there off of Newburgh around the corner where you would go and smoke.
Oh, yeah. During the day after work, I'd smoke. I never went down that road that night.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Daniel.
No, I did not. Not in my baby mama's car.
Hey, Daniel, this girl that you're with at the party, okay, what was she wearing?
For the first time in a long while, Detective Sroka speaks up. He is confrontational by design, setting himself up in a bad cop situation, making accusations toward Daniel, which establishes Detective Preedmore as the good cop.
I just remember like tight pants and a t-shirt or something, I thought.
Okay.
It might have been the Leaf thing, but I don't remember
You think you would remember that if it was if she had a Leaf costume?
I was wasted.
Okay.
I just remember
that girl
said, hey, let's, and then...
The girl that you with, did she take her own clothes off? Did you take them off? How'd that go?
She took them off. All she took was her pants off.
Okay. All right. I have a couple issues with that, I guess. Number one, I think you're off on your time frame a little bit too. Okay, I think you were at the party later than you're saying you were.
It could have been a little later, but I could have sworn it was around dark.
It was later though. Let me tell you, the crime lab is telling the costume was torn.
Okay, that wasn't by me though.
It was torn off.
That was not by me.
But the thing is both of them. You said
I left by myself, 100% sure.
He's adding an extra qualifier here, another red flag for an increase in anxiety and potential deception. It's interesting that he claims to be so wasted he wasn't sure who he had intercourse with, but he's able to be 100% sure he left by himself. He's also using a lot of intense hand motions here, really trying to emphasize his point to the detective and make himself as believable as possible.
When you left the party, in the backseat of your vehicle.
She was
in the trunk of your vehicle.
No. She never went in the trunk. She never went in the back.
At some point,
go check the car if there's anything in it. I don't know.
When the two detectives converge on Daniel applying pressure, he begins to use exaggerated gestures again, trying to make himself seem convincing.
At some point, the vehicle with you.
Yeah, in the back seat. Not the trunk, not the front seat.
After you left the party.
No.
After you left the party.
No.
At one point after you left the party.
No, she was not.
Yes, she was.
No, she was not.
She was.
No, she was not.
And we need to know about that.
See, the problem is, Daniel, is we started off on the wrong foot.
I know. I shouldn't have
said that.
I said I had should have.
I mean,
I didn't think it was her because it was dark hair. I didn't know she had a wig on.
But we started off,
And-
you know, and then I got to confront you. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have to do that.
The detectives dole out one bit of evidence at a time to not only leave Daniel wondering what else they may know that they haven't yet told, but to keep him on his toes and catch him in lies since they haven't provided him with all the information.
The thing is I think you're telling me part of the truth.
I'm telling you the whole truth. No.
All right.
I mean,
But
I was
I
hiding this part really. I don't lie.
I think you and her had out on Briar Hill.
No, we did not.
All right.
I would have found
Something
a place.
happened.
If I
Something happened.
If I was gonna have there somewhere anywhere, I'd have gone right near there. I would have gone way out to Briar Hill Road.
Yeah, but Daniel, it's not out of the ordinary for you to drive out there because that's where you live.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
All right.
There's no spots
So
with houses all along that road, and I'd have done it somewhere out by where she was
That's a nice,
at.
quiet place to tuck away at the railroad tracks.
No.
It
Wait,
is.
what railroad tracks are you talking about? The
Briar
ones
Hill.
on the dirt road, right there by the.
Yeah.
What road are you talking about? I'm talking about the road that's on Telegraph. Is that where she was found?
Hold on a minute. Let me go get a map and I want to show you exactly.
Okay, because I thought she was found over by that school.
Give me a second. I'll get a map and I want to confirm exactly where it was at. Okay? Relax.
Left alone, Daniel sits still and focused, his mind undoubtedly racing as he tries to figure out how to explain his actions without implicating himself further. Rianne Lazotte was Matthew Hurst's girlfriend and also stayed in the residence when Daniel was there. In an interview, she recalled Daniel talking about a girl who'd gone missing from the party, possibly calling Chelsea by name. She didn't believe that this information had been released into the media at the time. In fact, Chelsea's mother didn't even realize that she was missing until 8:30 p.m. that night, and didn't report her missing until the following day, October 27th, 2014. On that day, Daniel shared a link on his Facebook about Chelsea's disappearance at the party. Over the course of the next few days, listed under events on Daniel's Facebook page, detectives found 2 different planned searches to locate Chelsea. Early the next month, on November 19th, 2014, they discovered a Find Chelsea event on Daniel's Facebook. That very day, Daniel posted a photograph saying, "I already know I'm going to hell at this point. It's really go big or go home." The Monroe News periodically appeared on his Facebook as well, which is significant because it happened only on days where larger events in her investigation occurred.
So this is
This is Briar Hill Road right here.
this is Briar Hill.
The school's over
This
here.
is Newburgh, right?
Yep, this is the school down
Okay, see, I've been by Newburgh. That's where I bust my UVs. I don't really come down
This is
often.
Briar Hill.
Okay.
The use of a map creates a stronger case, as it's harder for Daniel to say that he misunderstood anything about the relevant locations later.
So I just wanted to confirm, and this is the railroad tracks, and this is the pond back here.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where I'm from.
I've never been back there.
Okay.
Not,
Right.
I mean, I've drove down the road a couple times.
So
that's it.
bear with me. All right. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
All right. I know we're all getting tired, but I want to talk to you. All right.
Stressing it.
So this is the thing, the DNA. Okay. I just went and confirmed. Okay, and I'm telling you exactly. I'm not tricking.
That's fine.
I'm not
believing you.
lying. I'm not saying anything. I did say something where I was wrong. Okay, it was not semen. The
Okay.
DNA. It was skin. All right, from force,
Like, what do you
from
mean?
tear.
Oh.
Your DNA cells were on where her crotch was torn and where her
Might have just-
top was torn.
Now Detective Preedmore transitions to the idea of violence.
I'm grabbing her or something.
Okay, so that's where your DNA was. I'm
Okay.
past that.
Okay.
All right, I know that you tore that.
I didn't tear
Hold on,
it.
we're
I
past
pulled
that.
it off or whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
so but it was torn. You had to tear it.
I didn't tear it.
But I'm not getting
That could have
that.
been somebody
Right.
after me or something.
Okay.
There was nobody
So-
after you.
This is where it's time. Something happened when you left with her.
I did not leave
Listen, when you left,
Did not leave there.
either something happened where it was intentional, unintentional, accidental.
As Detective Preedmore wants Daniel to admit he was responsible for her death in any way possible, the easiest way is to suggest it was an accident. Once Daniel acknowledges this, the door is open for him to pursue the possibility of murder. Providing options is another component of the Reed technique, which urges him to accept the option that provides the least moral or legal culpability.
Now is the time for you to tell us what happened, because are you that monster murderer?
No.
Did you have intention, but it
No.
just slipped? It got out of control?
No, I didn't do that to her.
Or was it
I
an
didn't hurt
accident?
her. I had sex with a girl, that's it.
But then you have your DNA from where the tears are on her costume. And I'm going to tell you one thing that nobody knows about except us and her mother, is that she had brittle bone disease. Brittle bone disease is a simple touch, a tap, where she breaks.
I break my fingers
Okay?
a lot because of it.
So that's what happened. It was an accident. Something happened where it was an accident.
Telling him that Chelsea had brittle bone disease provides Daniel another way out by making her death seem like an understandable and easy-to-accomplish accident.
Okay.
Something happened with you and hold on.
What's wrong?
Okay, but an accident happened. An accident happened, Daniel.
Can I get a cigarette in this?
An accident happened.
As Detective Preedmore becomes more confrontational, Daniel is clearly stressed out as he goes for his water bottle and even asks the detective if he can have a cigarette.
Okay? An accident happened, and it was an oh shit moment, and it was gone. It was done. And we can't bring it back. We can't bring it back. All we can do is get closure from here and move on. Okay? We're past all that.
Daniel's agreement here seems to be an indication that he's getting close to admitting the truth.
Was it an accident? It wasn't murder. You didn't intend to kill her. You did not intend to kill her. You did not intend to kill her.
Excuse me.
You did not intend to kill her. I am on your side 100% with that,
Okay, I get
Daniel.
that.
Look at me. I am on your side with that.
Daniel scratches his head, which may be an adapter sign that he's trying to relieve some stress. Adapters can take many forms: scratching, tapping, grooming, or fidgeting. The purpose of all these different behaviors is to release nervous energy.
We need to know.
I know, but
All right.
I just had
We need to know. So when your name comes out there and everybody's asking me,
Don't matter anymore.
I don't want people to think you're that murderer, because I know you're not. I know you're
As soon
not.
as it comes out, my
Daniel.
name and remote,
Daniel. This is
That's
it.
not who you are.
This isn't who
I
you
can
are.
tell you. I could tell you right now.
This is not who you are.
Hypothetically, I could tell you that we had sex and she did get hurt, and I left her out there. I'm still going to the jail for the rest of my life.
But you're not that murderer. No, you're
I'm still
not.
going to jail for the rest of my life. I
Absolutely.
didn't do
Look
that.
at me, Daniel.
You have
Look at
intent.
me. Look at me.
No.
The pressure is building for Daniel in his observation that no matter what happens at this point, he's going to jail for the rest of his life may be an attempt to get reassurance from the detectives that this is not the case. Instead, as the investigators detect the cracks in Daniel's temperament, they apply even more stress.
Look at me.
There you go.
I didn't do anything.
You had no
I had
intent.
sex with the
Daniel.
girl. I was wasted.
You had no intent to hurt her. All right? It takes intent to go the rest of your life.
Can I use the bathroom?
You had no intent.
Daniel's request to use the restroom is an attempt to escape, to get a break from the intensity and try to regroup, and the detectives intentionally ignore him because they feel like they're close to getting him to break.
You're not the murderer.
I know. I didn't
We know
do
that.
anything. I just had.
An accident happened. Something happened. All right? I can't fault you for an accident. You can't fault yourself for an accident.
accident.
Absolutely not.
It matters.
Listen, Daniel, it
There's a
matters.
difference. There's a
It
difference.
absolutely
Big time.
matters. Yes,
There's a
it
difference,
does.
You know.
We need to know.
I know.
Okay?
First off, can I please go to the bathroom? Is it possible for me to get
Listen,
a cigarette? Because I'm stressed out. Like
I
I'm
will
literally
get you a
trying to shake
cigarette. Listen, Daniel, I'll get you a cigarette. I'll get you to go to the bathroom. Okay?
it. Thank you.
But hold on.
Let's pee.
All right.
Let's pee. We're gonna get a cigarette. We're gonna come back. We're gonna finish talking
Thank
about
you
this.
very much.
Okay. We're gonna
Thank
finish
you very
talking about this.
Detective Sroka takes initiative here as Detective Preedmore attempts to bargain with Daniel, providing the bathroom and a cigarette for more information. This is a wise decision, even though it's clearly not what the lead detective had in mind. However, his partner realizes that if they continue down that avenue, bargaining in that way could be viewed as a form of coercion, which could damage their case. Instead, giving Daniel what he needs, even breaking the rules to provide him a cigarette, will establish more goodwill in a sense that the detectives are willing to bend the rules for him. Hopefully, in return, he will provide more information.
My partner's trying to get a cigarette for you.
Thank you.
Something happened on Briar Hill Road, okay? And
It was never on Briar Hill Road. I never.
Here, listen, I'm telling you, I'm not around here.
I know.
Okay? I'm being straight up with you. I'm being man to man with you. Look it.
Thank
All right?
you.
I can get my ass in a ringer. And it's not funny. I could lose my job over this.
I know.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
For God's sakes, they don't even let people smoke in bars, let alone the
It's
sheriff's
government
office interview.
Don't they go on the roof and smoke? That's where all the COs go.
Oh, I don't know what they do, but I know they don't smoke inside an
I don't
interview
know.
room.
Thank you very much, sir.
Driving home the point that he's risking his job by providing Daniel with cigarettes, Detective Preedmore is encouraging Daniel indirectly to repay him with information.
And
Can I have a lawyer brought here to speak while you're here today?
listen, I
Can we
don't.
do it right now?
Listen.
So I can ask a lawyer about my rights before I say
I've already
anything more?
told you your rights.
I
Okay.
know. I want to ask a lawyer what I should, be saying here now.
Instead, Daniel brings up his attorney again, beginning the whole process of the detectives having to get him to waive his Miranda rights so they don't have to stop the interrogation.
Okay, so you want an attorney?
Yeah, if I can have one.
Well, I
No.
can't get an
I know.
attorney for you. I can't do that.
I'd
I mean, it's
have to wait till Monday.
6:30.
I'd have to wait
All
till
right,
Monday. to
and this
talk
is
to-
it. We're done. All right, this is it. We're done after this. All right. So if you want me to be your mouth out there on the street, I will. If you want to leave me hanging and guessing and speculating, that's another thing.
Since defense attorneys frequently have to support suspects after hours, Detective Preedmore's implication that he cannot get one this late in the day is a lie. He gambles by stating that they are done and he can no longer help, hoping that will convince Daniel to waive his lawyer again.
If you want an attorney, we'll be done with this.
This is your chance to talk to us. You
I
make
know.
the decision if it's going to be homicide first degree, if it's going to be second degree manslaughter. That comes from you.
I know.
The bad cop ploy of bringing up potential charges is also designed to encourage Daniel to talk by implying that his cooperation may lessen the severity of his charges.
I need to say an attorney and just call my mom and ask her what she thinks.
Well, this
my
is
mom
the
is
thing.
my professional legal opinion.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean,
If I could have my phone, can I at least call her before I
But not
say
right
this
now.
and then tell you? Well, not right now. And tell you.
I'll
ask
let
her
you call
opinion.
your mom after we're done. I've already told you I would do that. All right.
The detectives refusing Daniel's call to his mother is an attempt to keep anyone from telling him that he should lawyer up. Since he's not a minor, they don't have to allow a consultation with a parent.
We're right here. We're talking. When we're done, we're done. Okay? All right? So it's your choice to talk to me with the attorney present, or you can continue talking to me and waive your rights.
His response is basically true because if Daniel does seek counsel, he will suggest that Daniel not cooperate with the detectives, so they will be done speaking.
I have a lot of stuff I want to tell you.
I know.
But
I don't want an attorney. I'm still listening. I'm trying to listen to what you guys
So
say.
it's your
first.
choice.
I'm
Do you want? But you got to clarify that you do
I
not want an attorney.
don't want an attorney yet. I'm just
Okay.
ask-
Look me
I was-
right in my eye
I
and
was
say,
just asking,
Mike.
I was just asking about what would be
Okay.
if I asked for an attorney.
You
I just
do
wanted to
not
know.
want an attorney.
I do not want an attorney yet.
Because I will stop right now and you can have an attorney.
I
Okay?
just wanted to know what would happen if I asked for an attorney.
Well, I'm going to stop talking to you.
The detective's invitation for Daniel to call him by Mike, his first name, brings their relationship to a more personal level, which encourages trust. It's surprising that Daniel once more waives his rights, especially because he has been in and out of prison regularly and should know never to talk to an officer without the advice of counsel.
Hey,
So Dan,
you were worried before. We were talking about you. You said, "Oh, I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life, no matter what." That's okay. There's a difference between intent,
I know.
things like that, and that's what we need to know right now. Okay.
It wasn't.
Did you intentionally?
No, I did not intentionally hurt her.
Okay, then we need to know what happened. Okay, there's a big difference.
And she sat there, and then she's like, "All right, well, let's go," because we had there. Then we left.
okay.
And had somewhere else.
Where's somewhere
I
else?
don't.
Briar-
We were
was it
driving.
Briar
No,
Road?
it wasn't Briar Road. We were just driving around. She did like leave, and I seen her as I was pulling out. She's like, I'm about to walk. I'm so tired of this. I'm like, just hop in. We'll go. And I freaked out. I was wasted.
Daniel's story has changed many times since the interrogation began. Now he finally admits that he did have contact with Chelsea after the party, when his most consistent denial throughout the investigation has been that he left alone and never saw her again. Furthermore, he admits to having intercourse again after he picked her up.
Okay, so hold on, let's stop. Now, this, you feel like a lot of just went off your chest, don't you?
Yeah, because it's something that
It's something that eats you up. All right?
much.
But you're going to move on from here. You're going to
Yeah,
listen
prison
to
for
me.
the rest of my life. I lost
Listen
my
to me.
kids. Just by telling you that I've lost
Listen
my
to me.
kids, I've lost my family, I've lost my girlfriend,
Daniel.
I've lost everything.
Daniel, listen to me.
The investigator puts his hand on Daniel's knee here, a gesture of support and encouragement. Even though he knows this isn't the whole story, he praises Daniel for manning up, and they talk about how good it feels to get the truth out at last.
You never told anybody besides us.
Never.
right?
Did anyone ever question you about it? Any friends say, "Hey, do you have any involvement in this at all?"
Like Jessica asked me about it. Like she's like, "Oh, the girl I worked with, come up missing," and I had a mini heart attack. But besides that,
But you never told anybody but us.
No.
How did you feel when you see it on the news?
Every time I see it,
her
I
being
freaked out.
missing,
That's why
her being found. How did you feel?
The worst was
you panic a little bit.
I panicked a lot every time, And then for the month after it happened, I was really bad. I started getting a little better, and then I went out on a big drug binge,
I'm
tried
gonna
all
step
kinds of
up.
drugs
Yeah,
and
sure.
stuff, and then come back and
Good.
Is there anything I can get you right now?
unless you can get my phone so I can call my mom.
We'll do that.
At least, because I know the phones aren't even working downstairs. I'd like to at least be able to call my mom and my girlfriend and
We'll
explain.
let you make a phone call.
Give me a few minutes to tell her, I'm going to jail for a long time. At least, be able to tell her man to man.
Despite the severity of the situation, Daniel seems unemotional, even when discussing telling his mom and girlfriend he's going to jail for a long time. The detective leaves the room, but when he returns, he has an update for Daniel.
Speaking of her mom and your phone calls, all right, I'm going to keep my end of the promise.
Thank you very much.
But this is what's going to happen, okay? And this is respect for the mom, her mom, okay? I'm not going to let you call your mom until we go out and talk to her mom.
Okay.
Then I will come back and I will get you out and let you make your phone calls.
Okay, thank you.
But I cannot I cannot take the chance of something happening.
You know how people talk.
There.
Yeah, so if I put this out, can I have it when I come back and call later?
No, we got to do it now.
Okay.
Because the sheriff's here.
The detectives leave, but bring Daniel pizza since he missed dinner.
Cold ass pizza. I shouldn't have bitch down. Well, no.
Daniel leaves with the detective so they can make the phone call to the victim's mother and inform her of Daniel's confession. While they do this, Daniel will be placed in a cell before he's allowed to make the personal calls he requested. He continues to express only concern about himself rather than anyone else affected through his actions. Of course, Detective Preedmore reviewed the recorded phone calls. One call was to his current girlfriend, Kelly Richter. During that conversation, Daniel admitted to her that he killed Chelsea, saying that during intercourse, he choked her and accidentally broke something in her neck. He then explains that he ditched her because he freaked out and things blew out of proportion. He made a similar call to a woman named Nikki Chisholm, telling her that he was drunk as when he killed Chelsea. Daniel was subsequently arrested for the death of Chelsea Bruck, but one huge mystery remains. What happened that night? Well, the answer is both twisted and disturbing. Back in the interrogation room for a follow-up interview, Daniel is demonstrating signs of anxiety as he awaits the sergeant's arrival. His legs are shaking and he seems to be experiencing shortness of breath. However, when the officer does arrive, he once more shows his dual nature by quickly composing himself.
Hi, Daniel.
How's it going?
Good. Is it Dan or Daniel?
Daniel, don't matter.
All right. We met the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
The sergeant explains that since he's now been officially arrested, the rules have changed and he must remain cuffed. To begin the rapport-building process, he does agree to loosen the cuffs for Daniel.
I think there's a sense of relief.
It's good.
You know, because
I really
just,
want you to tell him.
just not knowing, you know what I mean? So, but they had some questions, and I had some questions. You know, nothing. Just like last time, we don't jump around and scream. I think the detectives treated you pretty good last time.
They were very nice. You know, they gave me a couple of cigarettes, pizza and stuff.
I don't have any cigarettes for you. I could try to find it. Or
You find me one, how do you make me the happiest man alive? Because I've been sitting there, I haven't slept since Friday, pretty much.
Just like in the previous interrogation, the sergeant is cordial and explains he just wants as much information as possible for the victim's family. His goal is to try to fill in the few missing blanks in the investigation.
Right. And did you follow the news when?
No, as every time I'd see something about it, I'd start freaking out.
Yeah, we obviously you knew this was coming. We talked to some ex-girlfriends and stuff, and you know they told us some things like
Which ones?
Erica, you know, and she did some of them ever ask you like what happened or
No.
I mean meaning.
Erica, I talked to her.
Like,
I talked to her that night when I was in here on the phone. I called her.
Yeah.
And I told her what happened. She's like, I never would have expected that out of you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I mean, I've never really told anyone anything.
All right. Well, like I said, you know, we've obviously been working all weekend, and I appreciate you being, you know, I almost
I've
get
been
this,
down there freaking out over everything.
I almost get the sense though that it seems to be like a little bit of a relief.
It is like I didn't mean to do it. I feel horrible every day. I think about it. It's like, you know, if that was my daughter, and there was times where I literally wanted to just message that chick on Facebook, her mom, and be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say to her, you know. It's like, I know I'm going to spend the next 10, 20, 30 years of my life in prison for this. I'm not going to see my kids graduate. I'm not going to get to watch them grow up. I've done so much to ruin my life. And I do feel better out that it's finally out. I don't have to live with it anymore.
While Daniel may be starting to feel some remorse for Chelsea's family, he immediately turns the focus to how his actions have affected his own life, showing his selfishness.
Like, I've never done anything that's wrong. Never, nothing even close. Some weed or gotten a few fights or, you know, I ran from the cops in December of 2014 for like 50 feet when they went to arrest me, and then I stopped because I realized I wasn't getting nowhere, and my brain kicked in.
You realize they were faster?
It wasn't even that. It's just I was outrunning the cop.
Yeah.
I would have made it, and then I stopped. I'm like, look, I'm just done. I'm just done.
Well, I know you. I wanted to kind of go back through that night.
The sergeant has Daniel go through the story again, and he and Detective Soroka search for inconsistencies. They reach the point in the story where Daniel describes choking Chelsea in the car.
She moved underneath me and to choke me. I was choking her, and then she went limp. And I know it wasn't that long that I was choking her. Couldn't have been more than 20, 30 seconds, and I wasn't doing it extremely forceful to my knowledge.
Right.
Because I've had other girlfriends like to be choked.
As stated earlier, when someone makes a declarative statement like this, their body language should indicate confidence because they're speaking the truth. However, Daniel's palms are up. This low confidence body language is highly suspect and a red flag.
So, but when you would choke the girl before
Yeah.
girlfriends before, was there ever any time where there was a problem where somebody passed out or somebody?
Like once, Lyric passed out on me. One of my exes, like 4 or 5 years ago.
What's her name?
4 years ago, Lyric.
Okay.
I know, it's been a few years. This would be back in like.
So she
2000.
passed out, but I mean, did
She started to pass out because she was on top of me when I was choking her. And that's when I, first was starting to do stuff like that.
When officers interviewed Daniel's ex-girlfriend, Erica Rafko, she explained that during intimacy with Clay, He would often choke her. While she did like when he did so, frequently it was too hard, and she had to tap him repeatedly to get him to stop. She said she didn't feel safe around him because he would sometimes hold her down with a hand around her neck. Once during intercourse, Daniel had his hand on her upper chest area and applied such force that he broke her rib. Another time, she asked him to hurt her, but he did so with such ferocity, pounding her ribs, that she asked him to stop. Now, as the story reaches its fatal climax, the sergeant begins to ask specific questions because he needs to find the truth about how Chelsea received the facial damage, the actual cause of her death.
So then from there, you said I think you said you get kind of freaked out a little bit. Or
and I just started
Did
driving.
you hit her at all?
No. They said they found a split on her lip. I'm thinking that maybe when I threw all the branches on her, or maybe when because I got her out of the car, I could swear I picked her up and carried her, but I might have dropped her a couple times because she was, I'm not that big of a beast.
Right. Did you ever push her?
Didn't she get into a fight at the party too?
Well, she had walked into a board.
Okay.
And she had a little blood.
His legs have not stopped moving, as well as hands are in the protect the jewels position again. This is a fight or flight anxiety response. We naturally move our hands towards protecting our important organs, including reproductive organs.
I remember seeing blood on her face like that, and somebody, I remember hearing about it days later that, she'd already busted up her face or something.
She walked into a board.
The sergeant has evidence that she was struck, but before he reveals anything definitive, he's having Daniel exhaust all probabilities. The coup de grace is his revelation that Chelsea did not, in fact, have brittle bone disease. So that was not actually a factor in the damage she sustained.
Did you ever push her down to the point where maybe her bone could break or anything? And by the way, she did not have brittle bone disease. By the way, somebody said that.
Yeah,
it was she had a little bit of a muscle issue, and what that was is the muscle issue would just make her tired. Okay, it had nothing to do with her bones or nothing like that. So your bones are very strong.
I might have pushed on her throat there. I don't remember. I was f***ed up.
Okay. Now, when you say drop her, did you drop her from, how were you carrying her?
Like this. Probably on my shoulder like this.
So you're 6 foot? So we're about the same height. So maybe you're a little taller than I, but you carried her like this? You didn't carry her like a fireman?
Probably both ways.
Okay. Did you drop her?
Pretty sure I did.
What did you drop her on?
It'd be because I pulled down the tracks a little bit, so whatever's on that pathway, the back where they found her.
Okay.
Because I was stumbling all around, just trying to find somewhere to put her. Pretty much, I don't know why I was doing it. I just kept thinking that if I go to take myself to the police department right now, they're gonna just.
Did you drop her on any kind of hard object?
I might have.
Well, would you know? Would you heard a thud? I would think.
When I pulled up.
Or did you drop her?
When I pulled up, I come. There's a spot we parked, and there's a field right there.
Yeah.
In front of it. Isn't that across the street from where she was found? Because that's where I parked. So I probably walked her down those tracks. I'm going to drop her in the road or on the tracks.
Daniel continues to change his story to fit the new evidence presented. Now he's desperately trying to find a situation to explain the damage to Chelsea's face, because the act will be seen as intentional rather than accidental.
We have a problem.
Okay.
Because she's got some significant injury in your jaw. Everybody's jaw this is probably one of the more stronger bones you have in your body, because it's your jaw. You use it, to bite, and you're constantly using it. And the way the medical exam explained it, it's almost kind of like the bone material. The composition of the bone here it's almost like woven, so it's even stronger than say your arm bone or like a rib or something like that. And she has a significant injury to her midline, right here.
Okay.
It's broke.
Could have been me dropping her on her face, something?
I'm not a doctor, but I'm gonna ask him. But from 3 feet,
well, over my shoulder,
4 feet,
if I dropped her
6
onto
feet,
that rail or the cement,
I'm gonna ask him because there's a.
Because I never hit that girl. I know that.
It's not a pretty photo, but I want to show you it. You see that right there?
Yeah. I think it was kind of.
It's broken right in half.
But I got better pictures.
I have no idea how that happened.
Right here.
Unless I dropped her on her face.
And this is broke here. Is this the way you left her?
Probably. I branched over, yeah.
The sergeant makes a quick check to prove without a doubt that Daniel put her there, pointing out that only the one who did this would have known about the logs, and he agrees. The viewing of the photographs is one of the few times that Daniel seems very quiet.
That's significant.
Yeah, that is. But unless I dropped her on her face, I have no idea. I'm telling you.
But from 3 to 4 feet, I mean, I don't know how you can break a bone that like that. I mean, I'm just a layperson here, but
as the medical guy, because I walked on the tracks part way and not across the road with her, so unless I dropped her onto the tracks or the road, I know I didn't make it that far drunk carrying her that way.
this, after she died, did you slam her head up and down on a hard object? With
I
some
don't
force?
know. I might have hit her against something, but not like that. Or I might have tried to smack her. I might have hit her hard when I was smacking her, trying to get her to wake up, but not like that. That's
You're looking at the Braves.
I wasn't that messed up. I mean, I was drunk. I was fucked up, but not to where I wouldn't know my own strength like that. I could have stepped on her.
Stomp.
No.
You can't. You're not going to break somebody stepping on something.
I mean, I could have tripped.
I don't even think that, because these logs were light, if I remember.
They were heavy. They were heavy. They weren't heavy at all.
We picked them up like it was nothing. So
I remember there being one heavy log that I picked up and put on her the first time. That might not have been grabbed the second time.
Did you smash her face with it?
I might have hit her with it on accident, but not purposefully. I might have picked up the log and went like that, hit her, but I never hit that girl.
This is the second time that Daniel has referred to Chelsea as that girl, which is a little disrespectful, but also a way of distancing himself from her. He's been throwing out all the possibilities he can to try to make his story fit the evidence, but his stress level is obviously increasing, which is evident as he throws his hands wide in exaggerated motions to try to convince the sergeant of his innocence.
This is what I'm having a problem understanding, Dan, is she has significant injury here, and she's dead. Here, presumably. That's according to you. So how can we explain this? This is not good. I mean, your suggestions, and I understand where you're coming from, but the suggestions of dropping somebody from 3 to 4 feet, the medical examiner, I've already asked him that. Okay. I've already asked him that.
I figured.
Because I asked him, because we all know how hard it is to carry dead weight. She's 130 pounds. 130 pounds. I don't care how strong you are. That's hard, to do. So I could see you dropping, and I asked that question. Would he drop? No. And I said, explain to me how that happens, doctor. And it's strike with an object. Matter of fact, we talked to the anthropologist. Okay, she's a really, really smart person when it comes to bones. And I asked her, I said, well, could somebody punch her? Because that's what we thought, somebody would punch her. And she said, it'd probably break his fist before it would break these bones. So to give you an idea, probably break your fist. So her thought process was that an object was in the hand. Like a hammer or a tire iron and I'm just throwing the stuff out there. An object would cause that significant break. So the next question to the anthropologist was, how did that happen? And she said, well, you could smash your face into a hard object, a stable hard object, multiple times, because there's multiple impacts. Impact.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I snapped and tried hitting her afterwards, trying to wake her up or something. But I don't remember. I don't.
She's owed it.
I really don't. I remember blacking out a lot throughout the night. I was up. I remember after I choked her, and she passed out. I couldn't get her back to wake.
But listen.
I remember tapping her on the face and hitting her on the face. But I might have hit her hard then. To give these up here, but I doubt this down here. I don't think I broke her jaw hitting her like that. I don't remember a good part of the party. I don't remember what I was doing there.
Cause of death.
I don't remember
blunt force trauma
after.
That's the cause of death, Daniel. It's not from her being choked. It's from her being hit in the face with something. So we need an answer. We need closure.
I was choking her. That's when she stopped moving and stuff.
Do you know that you can be alive and have real shallow breathing. Do you know she probably died miserably here? Like out in a field somewhere with a couple goddamn logs on her?
She was dead.
How do you know?
Cause like there was no breath, no nothing, no pulse, no nothing. I sat there and kept trying to find it forever.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Death was blunt force trauma to the head. That's what they called it. That's what the medical examiner called it. The people that do this for a living.
While the detective is speaking, Daniel wipes sweat from his forehead and hands. There's nowhere else for him to run.
So, I get a cigarette, please. Staring at this is about to make me have a panic attack. Like, and then I'm literally feeling myself sweating and about to just start crying and passing out. Can I please have a cigarette and some water?
Daniel requests a cigarette in an attempt to take the focus off him as he's out of excuses, and so he can escape the intense questioning. Detective Sroka goes to get him some water, taking money from the lead detective for the purpose. While the other man is gone, the detective tells Daniel how close they've all come with Chelsea's family and urges him to give them the closure they need.
Daniel, you saw that jawline. It is absolutely displaced.
I really don't know unless I was from throwing the wood on her. Like the jaw, I could get the eyes. Like I could have probably done that. I won't lie to you. Say there is parts where I blacked out. I don't remember a lot of that. I remember it was easy.
Did you smash your head in the door?
I could have when I got out of the car.
Did you smash your head?
Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I'm telling you, when she stopped moving is when I was choking her. And that's why I thought she was dead. So unless after that, when I was freaking out, trying to wake her up or something, I did it. Or when I got her out of the car, I did it. I could have hit her head in the door then. I could have hit her head on the train tracks walking down them. I could have hit her head with the branch, but I never, like...
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk to the medical examiner. I'm not telling him. I'm going to tell him your theory.
I don't know. Like,
Look at that.
I could have done the ones under her eye, but I don't know.
Look at that.
I didn't hit her like that. I was going like this and stuff.
No.
But like, I was just trying to wake her up. Like,
Displaced.
I don't know.
Displaced.
When someone encounters a threat, such as being interrogated for murder, their body may go into fight or flight mode. Respiration increases and mucous membranes dry up. This combination may result in the pitch of someone's voice changing, as Daniel's has here.
I don't know.
Significant injury.
I don't know.
Doctor said car wreck could cause that.
I didn't hit her with the car.
I know you didn't.
Unless...
I know you didn't.
I don't know.
Either two things happen. Either A, you hit it with an object extremely hard multiple times, or B, you smashed your head multiple times on a hard object. And I'm looking at it, and if I'm just a lay person looking at this, looking poor Chelsea, you know what I'm saying? Look at that.
I know. I'm about to. Can you please see about if you got new water yet? I'm literally feel like I'm about to pass out.
Daniel's refusal to look at Chelsea's picture is a refusal to face the monstrous thing that he did.
Daniel, we need you to remember this, okay? People aren't going to believe that you choked her, and people are going to be under the impression that you're not sorry about what you did, because you're not telling the whole truth.
Horribly sorry. I don't remember. I
remember how she got hit in the face, and we need to know about that.
So you're going to keep asking.
It doesn't matter if you choked her to death or you hit a baseball bat.
After I come out with this yesterday, and told you everything, I have nothing else to hide. Nothing. I'm telling you right now, there is a good possibility I could have, obviously, I must have did something. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you and keep trying to say I didn't, because you showed me the stuff. I don't remember doing that. I, honest to God, do not remember doing that, or what I used to do it, or if I did it. Like, I don't know.
What am I going to tell Mom?
I was blacked out. Tell her when she, to me, was dead.
She don't give a flying about that.
Oh, then I don't know what to tell her.
She has
I really don't know what to tell her.
A devastating secret has been hidden from her for 1 year and 8 months. The death of her child.
I don't know.
You are now at the finish line. You're now at the finish line, and she's owed that. She is owed that. She is owed that. A mother Somebody who carried her for 9 months and cared for her for 22
no
years. For 22 years. She
Can
still
you
lived
take
at
these
home.
off, please?
She still lived at home.
Cut myself. I can't wipe my face. I can't do anything. Can I get some tissue or something?
Here.
I'm telling you, I don't remember ever doing anything like that. The fact that I did that makes me want to die. You could shoot me right now and I wouldn't give a shit. Obviously, I don't remember, sir. I swear to you, I cannot remember.
Daniel's recent references to the detectives as sirs is an attempt to come across as a respectful, polite person rather than the monster that he actually is. However, during this conversation about the victim's family, he's more concerned with his own well-being as he's only interested in getting a tissue. His crying fits are more than likely staged, evident by how he's able to turn his emotions off and on, composing himself immediately and appearing fine between outbreaks.
I honestly do not, remember that. I know I was freaked out. I was upset. I thought she was dead when I choked her. If I had known she was still alive, I would have let her go. I would have taken her to the hospital or something. That's why I freaked out, was because I thought she was dead.
Daniel slips up here. After all, if she was there consensually, why would he need to let her go? He realizes this and quickly adds the part about the hospital as damage control. But what Daniel has to say next, no one saw coming.
You could have driven her to the hospital on their own, just dropped her in a parking lot. She'd had a hell of a lot better chance of living than put her out in the middle of the woods.
I know, but I was afraid about going to prison for the rest of my life over it. Now I'm still am.
So it's about you.
It was, yes. I won't lie.
As the interrogation draws to a close, Daniel shocks everyone with his narcissistic behavior.
You know, I've dealt with this every day since then. It's not just something she's had to live with. You think I don't sit there and think about this every day?
She's dead.
And now you're telling me this? Now this is a whole nother thing I have to deal with on it? That I could have beat this girl when I was blacked out and not known, and that's what killed her instead of me. I could have just took her to the hospital and, this is stuff I've dealt with my entire last year and a half.
This is classic narcissistic behavior, as Daniel is still only able to think about how his own actions have affected him, rather than what they've done to others. He has no real remorse for Chelsea or those affected by her death at his hands.
I don't remember doing that. If I did, I would tell you. What do I have to hide
But
from
you've gone out and lived your life. You've got on Facebook and meetme.com and you're under investigation right now for other incidents.
For what?
And you went and lived your life.
What am I under investigation for?
I'll talk to you about it in a minute.
All right, now what?
But did you,
I know what you're talking about. Never mind.
what?
What's her name? Charlie. I was with Wesley and Claire the whole time. I heard she tried saying to me.
I'm talking about the one where you brought the girl back to your girlfriend's trailer that you said was yours, and you showered with her, and she told you to stop, and you didn't stop.
Which one? Who?
So there was more than one?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Right here.
I'm saying
you
who
went
did I
out,
take?
you went out and lived your life the way you wanted to.
Wait, what trailer did I take who to? The one I'm living in now?
Yeah. Just this month, earlier this month. A girl from...
Was it Ipsy, or you met her on Meet Me?
Cece?
Yeah.
Go check my messages. She's mad because I f***ed her and dipped her. That's all it is. Check my Facebook messages. They're in there still. Go look.
Okay.
Trust me, you can go look through the...
We'll do that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you see my point right now, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know, but you went out and lived your life.
Yes, I did.
You're smirking
I
right
did
now.
stupid
You're
shit.
smirking right now.
I'm not smirking.
You were.
No. Yeah, well, about the CC thing, because that's hilarious.
It's
But-
not. None of this is hilarious.
Well, I could have been hitting her. I could have. I don't remember, sir.
So out of all of this is what you want me to tell her. That's it. Just, I'm so sorry. That's it.
No, I want to tell her. I want you to tell her that I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do to bring back her daughter. There's nothing I can do to make it right. There is nothing. Everything I did is wrong in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I will live the rest of my life regretting this. I've ruined my life too by doing this.
Not worry about that.
I'm just saying.
Me too.
After once again proving that all he cares about is himself, Daniel Clay is led away from the interrogation room. At his trial on May 16th, Daniel Clay was convicted of the first-degree murder of Chelsea Bruck and given a life sentence in prison without parole.